Hello everyone, this is Anjana Kumar from Gulf News, and with me is Mr. Shaji Ul Mulk. He is the founder and chairman of Mulk Holdings, which has a varied business interest, but of course his claim to fame has been he's a pioneer of the T10 League in the UAE, which has been a massive success in the country, and we are here to talk about his journey. Remember, he came here way back in 1982 as a working professional. He belongs to the royal family of Andhra. He is the Nawab of Kurnool, and we want to know why he left that side of his life to come here to the UAE, and look at the way he turned his life around. So thank you, sir, for talking to us, and welcome to this interview with Gulf News. So tell us about your journey and how it started.
Thank you, Anu. Well, like you said, it started in 1982. And that was the time that I had graduated.
Yeah.
You see, a good question why I came here, and I didn't come for a job actually.
Okay.
Came here because I was a very good student, and in fact I had topped my university as a topper, winning the President's Scholarship.
Okay.
So that came into my mind that I need to do my master's in the best university in the world. And that time, it still is, I suppose, the Wharton's in University of Pennsylvania.
Of course.
It was my target, basically.
Okay.
And obviously, to get into the Wharton's, you need to do your TOEFL, the GMATs,
Right.
and all that.
Yes.
And those exams were not very, frequent in India.
Yeah.
So my sister was living here at that time.
Okay.
So my brother-in-law Shafiq, now he invited me and said, "Okay, you come over."
Okay.
And you can join me, and in the meanwhile give you exams. And so they needed a year's experience as well, the university,
Right. Yes.
for the masters.
Yes.
So my target was to work for a year, and then do my bit.
Okay.
So started off by taking a job in his company,
Okay.
and he was doing the solar control films. I mean, they would clad the glasses from the heat and all that.
Right.
Now he didn't have a vacancy for me in the sales because I was too young as well.
Right.
So he put me more on the installation team, which I must confess I hated. And but a job is a job.
Yes.
So my first job actually was to fix the solar control films on the windows.
Oh wow.
So that's how it started.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, I think the journey started. I did my TOEFL, I did my GMAT.
Right.
I got my admission in the university. I paid my fees.
Right.
I booked my air ticket as well. And I think the way the story goes, 7 days before my actual flight
Okay.
to go to the US,
Yeah.
then by that time I was seeing money in my hand. I was fairly successful, not only at the job, but I started to do some business as well with him. And then I had my kind of not a mentor, but somebody I look up to,
Yeah.
my cricket captain Sundar.
Okay.
And then so I went to him and said, "Look, Sundar, I see, I have a change of mind. So what do you say?" So he asked me only one question. He said, 5 to 10 years down the line, what do you want to be?
Right.
Like you want to be a CEO of a large organization or a businessman?
Yeah.
That was clear. I mean, I didn't want to work for anybody. I said, "No, I want to be a businessman." Then he said, "Don't go."
Yeah.
And that's how it happened. I just didn't go,
Right.
and the journey started here.
Tell us about that turning point in your life where business started doing well for you, and how you've become the successful entrepreneur that you are.
Yeah, I think a couple of turning points actually. Two I had in life, which is very specific. You see, when I came in as a young student, and no responsibilities back home at
How
those
old were you
days,
then?
I was 21
21.
when I came here.
Okay, yeah.
So I was a pretty keen sportsman.
Yeah.
So my time mostly would be spent. I was playing for the, I was the top player of badminton in the UAE, so training, playing cricket,
Right.
and then I got married, right?
Okay.
And then the responsibility started.
Right.
But then still, I was making enough to have a decent life.
Yes.
And so it so happened like 2 years after marriage, I think, my wife went to one of the ladies' parties. And in that she was introduced as this is Farah, the cricketer's wife, cricketer Shaji's wife.
Okay.
And she came back home and told me, "Hey, this is your identity."
Okay.
So I was introduced as the cricketer's wife.
Yeah.
It is who you are. And that actually triggered.
Okay.
I said, because cricket in UAE really has no future as as a living, basically.
Yes.
And so it completely changed my mind. And so much so that I was actually in the team for the UAE World Cup. I was the top cricketer.
Is it?
And I was in the squad.
Okay.
And so that was a decision again, making time for me. And the squad was going for 3 months to South Africa for training.
Okay.
And I simply went to my captain, who was Sultan Zarwani at the time.
Right.
And I said, "Sorry, Sultan, my business commitments will not allow me to go forward. I'm withdrawing from the team." And then that's the time I actually started seriously working. And I think there was an opportunity from an English company to take a license for manufacturing ceiling tiles. I did that, starting a manufacturing concern, and the business started growing.
Yeah.
And I think it's a 30 years journey. So 10 years down the line, reasonable business size. Then I joined a very big business house.
Okay.
And then I think when I joined, the company was about 50 people.
Yeah.
Not very huge, but still a decent size of those
Okay.
days. And then that company
Yeah.
grew into 1,000 people in the next 10 years. This is late 90s.
Right.
And then what happened is, in the late 90s,
Yeah.
in one of the review meetings,
Yeah.
so my partner, I don't want to take his name, so I mean, I was a 40% partner, and he was 60. So then my partner said one day, Shaji, your 40% is too much. And because I'm taking the risk, the banking is my name. And I thought I was doing everything for the company. And the company was really big. I mean, to grow from a 50 people company to a 1,000 people company.
Okay.
We're the largest subcontracting firm for cladding, I think we had contract like the first airport was being built, we had the cladding contract for the airport.
Oh, right.
Large.
And you were part of that growth, like from 50 to
Totally.
1,000. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, and again, that was the second turning point. So that clicked into me, and suddenly I realized something is not very right here. I'm working for somebody else, and there's nothing in it for me. There's no future here.
And you never wanted that?
I never wanted that, absolutely not.
Oh, yeah.
So that moment came in when he said, 40 is too much. Then I realized, then this can go away anytime.
Right.
So that moment I said,
Yeah.
this is your company, take it, please settle my account.
Right.
And so
your turning points have actually been very strong decisions that you've taken, and you've not wavered from it. So whether it
Absolutely.
was like giving up your Wharton, or whether they were tough decisions,
Yes.
like you really beat the odds, something that people
Absolutely.
wouldn't like do normally.
yeah, it's all about the belief in yourself, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Having
want to
that
do it,
self-worth.
then you do it,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And yes, so that's the time that in the late 90s,
Yes.
the country was growing.
Yeah.
I was the first one to bring in aluminum claddings to the country.
Right.
So Alubond was the brand.
Yeah.
It belonged to a American family.
Yes.
The Gustafsons were the owners for that. So I bought a small share in the brand,
Right.
about 15% if I remember.
Okay.
And with the rights of putting up a manufacturing plant in the Middle East.
Okay.
So came in here, put up a plant, and then, one line grew to two. So we grew up from the Middle East, then we went into Europe,
Yeah.
and then eventually bought the American company as well, 100%.
Exactly, and Alubond is like, it's got a massive reach
Yes.
worldwide.
Yeah, it's a global brand.
It's a global
We
brand,
probably, if not, they were number one, definitely in the top three in the world
Yeah,
in terms of the size. So
absolutely, yes.
that's how the journey of the business started, and then we started growing all over the world, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. And then let's come to, of course, your another claim to fame is the T10.
Yeah.
Now, we know now that you loved cricket, and cricket was a passionate sport for you.
That's right.
So, was that the reason why you started T10? So, how did that idea come up?
Not really. I think again T10, you see, is one of those things where me and my son Adnan, we're watching World Cup football. And while watching the football, it's a 90 minutes game, we are seeing the intensity of the fan engagement in the 90 minutes, all the human emotions of happiness, sadness, and that excitement. So the thought process started, cricket is too long. What's next for cricket? So why can't cricket be 90 minutes?
Okay.
Basically. And that's how the idea of a T10 came in. But then ideas and concepts, many come.
Yeah.
But then an actual validation of an idea from the right stakeholders, which were the top players. So luckily for us, that time I think PSL was happening, and Chris Gayle and Shahid Afridi were both in a hotel. Somebody set it up, a meeting for me for both of them.
Okay.
And then I met both.
Yeah.
So first was Chris Gayle. I said, Chris, look, I've got this idea of, T10 and 90 minutes cricket. And like Chris get like so excited. Oh man, this is me, that kind of thing. Oh yeah, this is me.
Yeah.
I want to play that game.
Because he's quite a rock star when it comes to T20.
Yeah.
He just comes there like hits and goes.
Exactly.
So that's him. Yeah.
Exactly. So I signed him up right there actually.
Yeah.
So I said, okay,
really?
yep.
Okay.
I said, okay, Chris, we're doing it, and you'll be my brand ambassador for that. So we signed Chris as the first brand ambassador.
Right.
And then 15 minutes down later, Shahid was there. So met Shahid Afridi and said, look, this is the idea, what do you think?
Yeah.
Then he was also like very excited. He said, oh yeah, I mean, this is what it is. I play few balls anyway.
Yeah.
So for me, this is an ideal concept.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then I think establishing the whole thing was another journey, which was because ICC, the International Cricket Council, which gives sanctions, did not acknowledge or did not, accept the T10 format. They said, we will not do it until you have endorsement at least for 4 or 5 cricket boards, the major cricket boards in the world. And not only that, and one of the major boards needs to send their team to play. So that was the regulation. But again, luckily we made it happen. So 4 boards, which is the West Indies Cricket Board, the Sri Lanka Board, the Afghan Cricket Board, the Bangladesh Board, all of them endorsed.
Nice.
And Sri Lanka actually sent a team under their current capital, the Dhanimal. So that's how the first year started.
That's how it started. And how has it been?
It's been amazing. Yeah, it's really been amazing.
Yeah. So it was like when we heard about T10, it was a redefining moment for cricket, because from Test we saw the one-day games, and then the T20 itself was redefining, and then T10. So how has it been? Like there are challenges, I suppose.
Well, there are always challenges.
Yeah.
But then I think the important thing is everybody understand that T10 gives a lot of hope to cricket going forward, including T10 probably the only format which can go into the Olympics. A lot of big names have spoken about that.
Is it? Okay.
And
That's
and
for the game of cricket.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And somebody like Owen Morgan, the England captain, has gone on record to say that T10 is his favorite league. Brow has spoken very heavily. Most of the players. I think what T10 is doing to the cricket is actually enhancing the skills.
That's true.
Because the focus level for a bowler, he's only got 12 balls to bowl.
Yeah.
Right? That's his limit.
That's his limit.
And the batsman, so we haven't changed the number of players.
Yeah.
So within 10 overs, you've got still the 10 batsmen.
Yeah.
So the batsman knows that he can take the risk from the first ball.
Yeah.
But then taking a risk is one thing, yes.
Yeah, although the old timers would challenge that, saying that Test cricket is the ultimate test of a cricket player. How?
Well, I think there have been debates about why one day should exist when the Test cricket was there.
Yes.
But then when the T20 came, the one day was challenged.
Yeah.
And the same way when the T10 has come, the T20 is challenged,
Yeah, yeah.
But then it's a fact that every format has a place to
I
stay.
think today is a very different time from what it used to be like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
It's very fast paced and people don't have a lot of time. Besides, I think old timers, nobody else watches test cricket, I suppose. So formats like T10 and T20 are more exciting and, for people who like want to have something really fast and quick.
Well, I think each format has a space.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll be surprised actually. Test cricket is still very well watched
Yeah,
in,
it is.
in England, Australia, and India,
Yeah.
for example. You can
Yeah.
still have full stadiums if the right team is playing each other.
Yeah.
The Ashes really
Yeah.
has a lot of crowd.
Yeah.
But then, yes, we all believe, the experts believe that T10 is the next destination of cricket, basically.
Okay, great. So, and with that, it's a wrap. For full story on Mr. Mulk's life, please log on to www.gulfnews.com. You will find an entire article on the web, so do take a look at
Thank you.
that. This is Anjana Kumar for Gulf News. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.